What is up, beautiful people? It's your English teacher, Miss Wren, here with the final class of our summary writing course. In this class, we're going to put together all the skills that we have learned so far in this course and get to writing some excellent summaries. So far, we've learned how to quickly find the main idea of the passage, what to leave out of your summary, how to stay within the word limit, and we've even had a bonus session on how to write in your own words. This session is called Writing Summaries with Confidence. In this class, you will learn steps to writing your summary with confidence. We will look at typical questions and past papers and CXC samples. We will also summarize two passages together, and then we will examine summaries that CXC themselves wrote. Here's our first example of a Csec summary writing question, and it is on tattoos. Let's read what the question says. Read the following article on tattoos carefully and list 5 main points discussed. Then write a summary of the article in not more than 120 words. If this limit is exceeded, only the first 120 words of your answer will be read and assessed. As far as possible, use your own words. Your summary must be in continuous prose. You may use your answer booklet to jot down a plan. Your answer will be assessed on how well you A. Identify the main ideas and opinions in the extract. B. Organize and express these ideas and opinions in your own words. And C. Use appropriate grammar, sentence structure, vocabulary, spelling, and punctuation. Now, of course, all the information given here is important, but there are a couple things that I want you to pay attention to specifically. And here they are. Make sure that you list the 5 main points discussed because you will be awarded points just for doing that. Make sure that your summary does not cross 120 words. Make sure you use continuous prose. Make sure you are able to elicit the main ideas and opinions, and also be sure to use your own words. Let's read that passage together. Since the beginning of civilization, they have served as marks of identification, spiritual protection, and decoration. Now, at the cusp of another millennium, tattoos and other varieties of body markings are resurfacing as a popular form of individual self-expression. Tattoos are timeless and can be as unique as the bearers they adorn. They don't fade away like favorite t-shirts or get lost or broken like school rings. They stay with you forever, until death. They become a part of you from the day you sit in the artist's chair, etching your emotions alongside the needle's sting, transforming an instant of your life into a symbol for the world to see. Tattoos and other body markings arrived in the Caribbean with African slaves and indentured workers from China and India. They were sometimes the only permanent keepsakes of peoples snatched from their ancestral places. The Caribbean's original Amerindian inhabitants also used tattoos to mark spiritual milestones. The Taino of the northern Caribbean islands, for instance, used vegetable dyes to affix images of their guardians onto their skin. These images also indicated an individual's lineage or his social position. Each tattoo was both a personal history book and a mark of belonging. Over the centuries, however, tattoos and other forms of bodily adornment have mutated, exchanging religious and cultural significance for individualist associations. Sometimes that mark of individuality has been confused with rebellion and nonconformity. often alluding to a stain of bad character. Tattoo wearers have seemed wild, dangerous, even just plain bad. But today, tattoos have come full circle. Celebrities, writers, lawyers, housewives all proudly display their marks of rebellion. An entirely new perception of the art of tattooing has arisen, which is more than just a preoccupation with style. This rediscovered form of expression has spawned an entire subculture of individuals among us. They carry this common bond of distinction through their daily routines. Via the images on their forearms, shoulders, ankles, or torsos, they connect to each other, announcing to the world that it is okay to be unique and different. Now this is where I'd ask you to pause your video and read this passage at least 2 more times. Doing that will ensure that you get the meaning of the passage, which is the most important part of being able to write a good summary. So go ahead and pause it and press play when you're finished. And this is the main idea of the passage. It tells us that the significance of tattoos has changed over time to become a more personalized form of expression. Our next point is the topic sentence of the second paragraph. This contains the main idea of the paragraph and it supports the main idea of the passage on a whole. The other sentences in this paragraph are minor supporting sentences. The next key detail we can identify is this one in pink right here. It relates to the historic and religious and social significance of tattoos, so that makes it important. Yes, we are given a lot of information in the body of this very same paragraph, but if you look closely, you will realize that that information simply illustrates the point being made in that last sentence. That last sentence says, each tattoo was both a personal history book and a mark of belonging. The rest of the information that came before it are examples of that. They talk about the Chinese and the African slaves and even the Taino, and those are just illustrations. So that is why we leave those things out. Let's see what other key details we can find. This sentence here, the first sentence of the 4th paragraph. Over the centuries, however, tattoos and other forms of bodily adornment have mutated, exchanging religious and cultural significance for individualist associations. This key supporting idea tells us about the change from religious and cultural meanings of tattoos to something more individual, something more personal. This is another key supporting idea, and it tells us that sometimes tattoos are regarded as indicating rebellious attitudes. The sentences that follow just echo that sentiment. It says it has been confused with rebellion, and nonconformity, alluding to a stain of bad character, wild, dangerous, plain bad. All of those things are redundant. The main point has already been said. And as we learned in earlier lessons, being able to identify redundancy is a key skill in summary writing. Remember, Csec packs these summaries with redundancies, hoping that you are able to identify them. And since we can do that, it is not a challenge for us. Let's move on. So in green here, we have another supporting idea, and it tells us that the attitudes to tattoos have changed, as they're now being worn by a number of celebrities, professionals, and persons in society. It also tells us that this has grown into a new type of subculture of tattooed individuals who feel connected through their symbolic statements of uniqueness and difference. And this is how we come up with our 5 key points. It is imperative that you write these in your own words. If you have difficulty converting points into your own words, be sure to check out the bonus lesson on how to do so. Let's read what we have come up with. 1. Tattoos are permanent markings which have been around from the beginning of civilization. 2. They were brought to the Caribbean from Africa, China, and India, but the Amerindians wore them even before. 3. They were used by people in the Caribbean for religious, ethnic, and cultural purposes. Over the years, they came to be personal expressions identified with rebellion and defiance. Finally, 5. Attitudes have changed toward tattoos, and today they have become acceptable as marks of uniqueness and difference. And here is a sample of a summary. Let's read it together. From the beginning of civilization, tattoos and other body markings have been marks of identification, spiritual protection, and decoration. Tattoos are permanent markings which vary greatly and can be personally very revealing. A tattoo is an instant of your life etched forever on you for the world to see. Tattoos and other body markings were characteristic of the Amerindians of the Caribbean, as well as of the Africans, Chinese, and Indians who came there. For all these people, they had cultural, spiritual, and ethnic significance. Over the centuries, tattoos and other body markings have changed back and forth from group significance to individual significance, presenting a daily image of difference and uniqueness. If you look closely, you will realize that all of the main points that we identified in the beginning are included, but they have been decluttered. I guess decluttered is a good word, and simplified and put into our own words. Let's try summarizing another passage, but in this passage we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to summarize each paragraph, which is also a method that you can use. Let's go. I'm going to read it once with you and then pause this video and read it 2 more times afterward. Cassava takes about 9 months to harvest. The roots or sticks of the plant are pulled out and can be used to start a new crop. Once harvested, cassava roots spoil quickly and must be processed within 3 to 7 days to preserve their food value. After reaping the cassava, the women place the tubers in woven baskets called dupao, each of which holds about 150 pounds, carrying them home to start the separation process. The cassava is separated into fiber, starch, and juice. After peeling and grating, the cassava is placed into a basket weave press to extract the juice. This is a matapi. A small receptacle beneath the matapi collects the juice and starch. The fibrous remains are sun-dried, pounded, and sifted. The resulting flour is used to make cassava bread. This is eaten with stews, or can be toasted, buttered, and eaten alone. The flour can be used to make tapioca and fufu as well. The juice of bitter cassava, boiled and caramelized to the consistency of thick syrup, is called cassareep. This is sold commercially throughout the Caribbean and worldwide. Castorip is used as a food preservative in addition to flavoring and can keep a pot of pepper pot on a stove for years as long as it is brought to a boil at least once a day. Cassava can be used for a variety of snack items. There are the popular cassava balls, which can be found in almost all school canteens and lunchrooms and roadside vendors. Cassava pone, puffs, cakes, and cassava surprise. It can be peeled, washed, boiled, and fried as part of a main meal, complementing fish, meat, and poultry dishes. It is also used in the popular metaji, a soup-like dish that includes a variety of ground provisions as well as plantains, all of which are boiled in coconut milk. Cassava also serves as a base for many exotic drinks. The indigenous people of Guyana and Suriname make piwari, an alcoholic drink which is used at festivals and celebrations. Cassava wine is also very popular, especially in the rural areas. All in all, cassava plays an integral part in the diet and culture of the Guyanese people and is now the third most important food crop in the world. Remember to pause the video and read your passage at least 2 more times. Great, you finished all 3 readings. Now let's summarize each paragraph. This first paragraph has 3 ideas, and we need to put these ideas into our own words. Those ideas are that the cassava takes approximately 9 months to harvest, but must be processed in 7 days to prevent spoiling, that the roots can be used to start a new crop, and that after reaping, the tubers are taken home to be separated into fiber, starch, and juice. These 3 paragraphs discuss the separation process of the cassava. We need to order this process as concisely as possible, and we should also remember to eliminate all explanations and elaborations. This third paragraph gives examples of different ways cassava can be eaten. We need to find broad categories and leave out the specific examples. So I hope you see how the skills that we learned in the first 3 classes are coming together. The omission of examples and illustration, and also finding group words, etc. Your next step would be to write out your summary by paragraph, meaning put all the summaries that you got for each individual paragraph together in a paragraph by itself. Then we read through it and revise, making it sound cohesive and adding your transition words, etc. This is what a possible summary could look like. Cassava is an important part of the diet and culture of the Guyanese people and is the 3rd most important food crop in the world. Just take note here that that sentence was actually at the bottom of the original passage, but because it conveyed the idea of the entire passage, it was safe to use it in our beginning. Let's move on. Cassava takes approximately 9 months to harvest and must be processed within 7 days of reaping to prevent spoilage. During the process, the peeled and grated cassavas are placed into a basket weave press to extract the juice and starch. The remaining fiber is sun-dried, pounded, and sifted into flour. The juice is boiled and caramelized into a thick syrup called castorip. an effective food preservative. Cassava can be eaten as a snack, part of a main meal, or in soups. It can also be the base for many alcoholic drinks served at festivals and celebrations. The notes for this video can be found in your classroom, and feel free to look at this video as many times as you like. In your classroom, you will also find the assignment attached to this lesson, lesson 4. Do your best and have fun.